What's going on, everybody? I'm Primalliquid and welcome to my guide for Atelier Ryza 3. In this video, we are going to be going over the best armor for Ryza. Now, there are two armors in the game that you would want to use. However, one of them is pretty much only for item users, and the other one is for everybody else, but I'm going to cover them right now. So, in order to do this, we are going to need a few things first. Firstly, you are going to need a sage coat that is fully perfect. And what I mean by fully perfect is when you are crafting it, you need to have gear synth all +6 and gear synth defense / speed +7 effects. This is basically done just by completely maxing out the loop traits when creating it. Once you've done that, simply duplicate it a whole bunch. If you are going to make the other armor, you want to do the same, however you want to use Grand Organ instead. Next up, we also want to have a secret key with an effect of quantity up. Now, what I mean by that is, let me just very quickly show you. So once you've put all 4 core materials in, you can then use a secret key during synthesis. For this one, we want to use the effect quantity up al. Now, I don't know if you can get a higher tier version of this. I've created at this point about 200 to 250 keys, and I've not had anything higher than quantity up al. Whether that's to say there is or there isn't, I don't know, but I've just not come across it. However, use the highest one you have. What this is going to do is it's going to allow us to put even more quantity in, which will then allow us to get even more stats. But before we do that, let's talk about the armor in question, shall we? So we're going to be using the Kruger Cloak for Ryza. Now, you can use this on any other character that is going to be a dedicated item user. So realistically, this suits perfectly Ryza or Empal. Anyone else doesn't really matter because they aren't really going to be using items anywhere near as much as these two characters are. The reason we're using this is, firstly, you can completely ignore the first skill, okay? We are going to completely replace this. So just completely ignore that one. We have the Mark of Secrets, which increases your maximum HP and the amount of CC that you gain. We have Weaken Items, which, no, it does not actually weaken items. It simply reduces the wait time of them. And the final skill also reduces wait time of targeted allies, so when you use a buffing item, for example, in the party, it will also reduce their wait time as well. The last one is increases item power and increases damage dealt when targeting a target's weakness. Now, this is good because the best attacking item in the game actually uses 2 elements, and there is a second one which uses the other 2 elements as well. So the two best attacking items in the game do actually hit weaknesses incredibly easily. So this is a major damage boost. Now, I did say we were going to replace the effect, didn't I? We're going to do that by, well, firstly, let me just dupe a few more cloths because I don't actually have enough right there. Whoopsie. Where are we? You know what? Let's just do by guide. There we go. Okay, we'll just dupe like 30 off them. That's going to be more than enough. So, what we are going to do now is we're going to go through the actual synthesis. Now, we're just going to put in 4 items at first. Unfortunately, we do have to use a time teller and a normal elixir item. One of the things I will say, however, is unlike Ryza 1 and Ryza 2, we cannot start this synthesis on a lower level item, okay? We have to start at this actual item itself, sadly. Just one of them, I'm afraid. So, what we are going to do now is we are going to highlight the Effect 1 Sage Coat, the one that is called Silent Protection. We're going to press L3, which opens up the Link Morph combo. And what we're going to do here is we're going to filter by core ingredient effect, and we're going to choose Item Boost. Then we are going to use an inverted scale. What this is going to do is it's going to completely change the first effect entirely, all the way up to enhance items. Now, the good news here is, yes, there was an original enhanced items on there. However, that gets replaced at the final level, and they do stack. So now we can continue to get more enhanced items all the way up to an extra 20%. So right now we're going to have enhanced items 20%, and then we're also going to have Mark of the Secrets. We're going to have Wisdom of the Wise. So we're going to have a huge amount of extra item damage from this. So what we've done right now, if we've put the normal items in so we can actually do the synthesis, and I've also threw an extra couple of cloths in on this side just because I can. Now what we are going to do, okay, is we are going to use the key that I showed you earlier. As you can see, my quantity right now is at 6. However, if I filter by quantity up and select this key, we now go up to 9 quantity. This means we can go ahead and throw an extra 9 cloths in there if we really wanted to. One of the other things you can do as well is you can use the keys that boost just defense or just attack or just health if you really want to. For example, the XXL health key will give you an extra 100%, an extra 100 HP. Defense, attack, speed, and so on and so forth will give you an extra 50 points for them. However, with quantity, it allows you to get a good mix of all-round stats because it will give you 6 for everything and then an extra 7 for defense and speed. That's why I prefer the quantity up key, just because it makes things a little bit more balanced. So we're going to go ahead and dump all our remaining quantity into cloth items here. For the traits, we are going to use stats charge ++, attack and defense charge ++, and then HP charge ++. Obviously, this is an armor, so we do want a little bit of damage, but the main focus is going to be defense. Don't worry about the super trait right now. We are going to add that in any second now with the item rebuilding. So if we go to item rebuild right now, select the item that we just made, and now it's basically a case of unlocking all of the remaining effects, pretty much. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a couple of Philosopher's Stones here, just to very easily, you know, get through all of the effects with as few levels as possible, basically. So right now we've just done all the left side. We've got enhanced items 20%. All the bottom is done. Now we pretty much just need to do the side, and rather than using a plant there, the time tell, I'm just going to use another Philosopher's Stone. Saves on an item use after all. Okay, so right now we've got all the effects done. Okay, all the effects are completely done. We've got our traits right there, as you can see, and now it is time to add our super trait. Now, super traits are only able to be transferred from a base material. What I mean by that is this cloth right here has the reincarnation super trait. I cannot transfer that over. Okay, aside from the fact it doesn't work on an armor, it's a synthesized item, which means the super trait cannot be passed over again. In order for us to get a super trait on this armor, we need to use a base material. Okay, now for the super trait in question, I'm personally going to be using Lion Rush on everybody else, but on Ryza, we can use Prepared for Death. Now, the reason I say Prepared for Death is it increases damage inflicted in proportion to the decrease in HP. Now, some of Ryza's items do actually reduce her health, so she will actually gain a extra damage boost right there. But also, when you are against, you know, bosses on charismatic difficulty, chances are she might get hit. But once you are completely maxed out with accessories, weapons, armor, and items, you can actually one-shot the hardest enemy, the hardest boss in the game right now with a single item use. So until we get the DLC area with the DLC boss, we can't actually properly make use of this. Okay, this is definitely something to use for a perfect damage build. Okay, for now though, we're not going to use it. simply due to the fact, as I say, there's not really anything that we can actually get out of it. So what are we going to use? Well, what I am actually going to use is Lion Rush. And the reason we're going to use Lion Rush is, yes, it will reduce the defense, okay? But it will massively, massively increase attack and speed, which is just going to mean more damage, basically. So this is the trait that I would use on everybody. And then once the DLC is out, I would swap this over on Ryza or just any other item user for Prepared to Death. We don't really care about the defense loss. Literally everything dies instantly anyway. So we might as well get the extra speed, pretty much. So we're just going to go ahead and select the Dunkelhaut right now to add that Lion Rush item in. And then we are going to start the synthesis again. We've maxed all the abilities, we've got our traits on there, and now we also have our super trait as well, which, as you can see, gives me an extra 80 attack and an extra 80 speed in exchange for simply losing like 25 defense. That is a major increase right there, and the 25 defense you're not really gonna notice, to be honest. So we're going to go ahead and synthesize that right now. So we've got our perfect cloak right there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to lock that cloak, and then we are going to duplicate it. Now, as I said, this is only really going to be for item users, okay? So what that means is we're only going to be using that on Ryza and Empal because they have 99 dexterity. So we're going to go ahead and create one more of them. So now we have one for Ryza and we have one for Empal. The other characters are going to have a different armor. However, this video is now starting to get a little bit long, so I think we're going to do the other armor in a separate video because it is going to be a little bit of a different process. But though, everybody, that is going to be it for this video. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I really hope it has helped. If it has, then please be sure to smash that like button and, of course, drop a comment down below. Let me know the first thing you are going to nuke using this armor. And, of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I have tons and tons more guides for Atelier Ryza 3 coming that you absolutely will not want to miss. As always, though, everybody, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.